Ananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. So we're reading from Lord Chaitanya's Travels to the Holy Places, text 267. What? Yeah. Do I do the Bengali? Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganagana Salakaya Chakshu Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakopa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyeva Chaptitana Avanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. So we're reading from Lord Chaitanya's Travels to the Holy Places. So we will text Madhya Lila, chapter 9, text number 268. Pure devotees reject the 5 kinds of liberation. Indeed, liberation for them is very insignificant because they see it as hellish. Text 268. Pure devotees always reject the 5 kinds of liberation, which include living in the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, possessing the same opulences possessed by the Supreme Lord, having the same bodily features as the Lord, and associating with the Lord, and merging into the body of the Lord. The pure devotees do not accept these benedictions without the service of the Lord. Text 269. It is very difficult to give up material opulence, land, children, society, friends, riches, wife, or the blessings of the goddess of fortune, which are desired even by great demigods. King Bharata did not desire such things, and this was quite befitting his position, because for a pure devotee whose mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord, even liberation or merging into the existence of the Lord is insignificant. And what to speak of material opportunity? Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam concerning the glorification of King Bharata, whom Shukadev Goswami was describing to King Parikshit. Text 270. A person who is a devotee of Lord Narayan is not afraid of a hellish condition, because He considers it the same as elevation to heavenly planets or liberation. The devotees of Lord Narayan are accustomed to seeing all these things on the same level. Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17, text number 28, regarding the personality Chitraketu. Once, when Chitraketu saw the goddess Parvati sitting on the lap of Lord Shambhu Shiva, he became a little ashamed and criticized Lord Shiva, who was sitting just like an ordinary man and his wife on his lap. For this reason, Chitraketu was cursed by Parvati. Later, he became a demon named Vritrasura. Chitraketu was a very powerful king and a devotee, and he could certainly retaliate even against Lord Shiva. When Parvati cursed him, he immediately accepted the curse and bowed his head. When he agreed to accept this curse, Lord Shiva praised him and told Parvati that a devotee of Lord Narayan is never afraid of accepting any position, provided there is a chance to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the purport of Narayana Para Sarve Nakashjana Bibyati, which means what? Does anybody know? Okay. So this is a very pivotal and extremely well documented story of how a pure devotee takes the curses that come on his head. And I'm going to give a little background on this incident, which actually did happen. And this is from the Canto 6, Chapter 17. And it explains here, my dear king, after hearing Chitraketu's statement, Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality whose knowledge is fathomless, simply smiled and remained silent, and all the members of the assembly followed the Lord by not saying anything. So this is right after King Chitraketu was cursed, because he was laughing at Lord Shiva, who had Parvati on his lap. Where? In a big assembly of saintly sages. Purport. Chitraketu's purpose in criticizing Lord Shiva is somewhat mysterious and cannot be understood by a common man. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, however, Thakur, has made the following observations. Lord Shiva, being the most exalted Vaishnava and one of the most powerful demigods, is able to do anything he desires. Although he was externally exhibiting the behavior of a common man and not following etiquette, such actions cannot diminish his exalted position. The difficulty is that a common man, seeing Lord Shiva's behavior, might follow his example, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Lord Shiva, who was always deep in knowledge, could understand Chitraketu's purpose, and therefore he was not at all angry. Rather, he smiled and remained silent. The members of the assembly surrounding Lord Shiva could understand Chitraketu's purpose. Consequently, following the behavior of Lord Shiva, they did not protest. Instead, following their master, they remained silent. If the members of the assembly thought that Chitraketu had blasphemed Lord Shiva, they would certainly have left at once, blocking their ears with their hands. So what we're hearing now is the situation that happened. And King Chitraketu received this extremely heavy curse that what? He would become a demon in his next life, right? So, not knowing the prowess of Lord Shiva and Parvati, Chitraketu strongly criticized them. His statements were not at all pleasing, and therefore the goddess Parvati, being very angry, spoke as follows to Chitraketu, who thought himself better than Lord Shiva in controlling the senses. So here we're seeing Mother Parvati, this is the example of a chaste and also very chaste and very dedicated wife of Lord Shiva, that she cursed King Chitraketu. But this curse was actually put upon King Chitraketu. This was a special mercy from the Lord, because the Lord was looking at the opportunity of bringing King Chitraketu back home, back to Godhead, which we'll see later. The goddess Parvati said, "Alas, has this upstart now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us?" In other words, she's giving him the sauce because King Chitraketu was laughing at Lord Shiva for having his wife on his lap and in the assembly of a bunch of sages. Has he been appointed ruler, carrier of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything? Alas, Lord Brahma, who has taken his birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion, nor do the great saints like Bhrigu and Narada, nor the 4 Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumar. Manu and Kapila have also forgotten the religious principles. I suppose it to be because of this that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. This Chitraketu is the lowest of Kshatriyas, for he has impudently overridden Brahma and the other demigods by insulting Lord Shiva, upon whose lotus feet they always meditate. Lord Shiva is personified religion and the spiritual master of the entire world, and therefore Chitraketu must be punished. So, to abridge the next few translations, Parvati cursed him to become a sinful member of a demon family, so that you will not commit such offense again toward a saintly person in this world. So, fast forward a little bit. And we go to the picture here of, this is King Chitraketu took the body of Vitrasura, right, Kamalini? Is that correct? Okay, so here's the demon. When all the demigods heard Vitrasura's tumultuous roar, which resembled that of a lion, they fainted and fell to the ground as if struck by thunderbolts. So this is King Chitraketu in the body of Vitrasura. And what we're seeing here, we have how much, what time is it? 1:15? All right. What? Okay. Okay. Okay, here is an important part. This is also in regards. Okay. Okay, so Vitrasura here, when all the demigods heard Vitrasura's tumultuous roar, this is in the body of a demon, which resembled that of a lion, they fainted and fell to the ground as if struck by thunderbolts. As the demigods closed their eyes in fear, Vitrasura, taking up his trident and making the earth tremble with his great strength, trampled the demigods beneath his feet on the battlefield, the way a mad elephant tramples hollow bamboo in the forest. Seeing Vitrasura's disposition, Indra, the king of heaven, became intolerant and threw at him one of his great clubs, which are extremely difficult to counteract. However, as the club flew toward him, Vitrasura easily caught it with his left hand. The powerful Vitrasura angrily struck the head of Indra's elephant with that club, making a tumultuous sound on the battlefield. Struck with the club by Vitrasura like a mountain struck by a thunderbolt, the elephant Airavata, feeling great pain and spitting blood from its broken mouth, was pushed back 14 yards in great distress. The elephant fell with Indra on his back. After Indra cut off his 2 arms, Vitrasura, bleeding profusely, assumed a gigantic body which shook even the mountains and began crushing the surface of the earth with his legs. He came before Indra and swallowed him, and Airavata his carrier, just as a big python might swallow an elephant. The Narayan armor protected King Indra, and with his thunderbolt he pierced through Vitrasura's abdomen and came out. Went right into his abdomen. Indra, the killer of demon Bala, then cut off Vitrasura's head, which was as high as the peak of a mountain. At that time the living spark came forth from Vitrasura's body and returned home, back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. So who was this originally? King Chitraketu. He really got the mercy, and it was a plan of the Lord to bring him back home, back to Godhead. This whole story. Okay, so now we'll read on. Both liberation and fruitive activity are rejected by devotees. You are trying to establish these things as life's goal and the process to attain it. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking to who? Do you know? I guess he's speaking to some Tattvavadis. Is that right? Okay, here's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking. It is very difficult to give up material opulence, land, children, society, friends, riches, wife, or the blessings of the goddess of fortune, which are desired even by great demigods. King Bharata did not desire such things, and this was quite befitting his position, because for a pure devotee whose mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord, even liberation or merging into the existence of the Lord is insignificant, and what to speak of material opportunity. So this is another pastime regarding King Bharata, who had to take a birth as a deer because he was thinking of a deer at the time of his death. A person, text 2670, a person who is a devotee of Lord Narayan is not afraid of a hellish condition because he considers it the same as elevation to heavenly planets or liberation. The devotees of Lord Narayan are accustomed to seeing all these things on the same level. So here he's talking about the situation with King Chitraketu. Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam regarding the personality Chitraketu. Once when Chitraketu saw the goddess Parvati sitting on the lap of Lord Shambhu, he became a little ashamed and criticized Lord Shiva, who was sitting just like an ordinary man with his wife on his lap. For this reason, Chitraketu was cursed by Parvati. Later he became a demon named Vitrasura. Chitraketu was a very powerful king and a devotee, and he could certainly retaliate even against Lord Shiva. But when Parvati cursed him, he immediately accepted the curse with a bowed head. When he agreed to accept this curse, Lord Shiva praised him and told Parvati that a devotee of Lord Narayan is never, ever afraid of accepting any position provided now, this is an important point, there is a chance to serve this Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the purport of Narayana Sarve Kutasjana Bibhiti. So King Chitraketu took this service on as he was cursed, and he just accepted it. And this was all the plan of the Lord, to bring King Chitraketu back home, back to Godhead. Text number 271. Both liberation and fruitive activities are rejected by devotees. You are trying to establish these things as life's goal and the process to attain it. Text 272. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued speaking to the Tattvavadi Acharya. Quote, seeing that I am a mendicant in the renounced order of life, you have been playing with me in a duplicitous way. You have not actually described the process and ultimate objective. So, here we're hearing that Lord Chaitanya is speaking to the Tattvavadis. Does anyone know who a Tattvavadi is? Tattvavadi is followers of Madhvacharya's Shuddha Dvaita philosophy. And, of course, Madhvacharya is in our disciplic succession. And the Tattvavadis have a philosophy, though, that is what? A little bit in this? Okay. Okay, so the Tattvavadi Acharya replied, what you have said is certainly factual. It is a conclusion of all revealed scriptures of the Vaishnavas. So what did Lord Chaitanya said? Lord Chaitanya said, seeing that I am a mendicant in the renounced order of life, you have been playing with me in a duplicitous way. You have not actually described this process and ultimate objective. Still, whenever Madhvacharya has ascertained to be the formula for our party, we practice it as a party policy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, both the fruitive worker and the speculative philosopher are considered non-devotees. We see both elements present in your sampradaya. Lord Chaitanya is still speaking. The only qualification that I see in your sampradaya is that you accept the form of the Lord as truth. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to point out to the Tattvavadi Acharya who belonged to the Madhvacharya Sampradaya that their general behavior did not favor pure devotional service. So here we see Lord Chaitanya interacting with the Tattvavadis who were at least accepting Krishna as the supreme absolute truth, but they had a few problems. Okay, so the purport says, Sri Chaitanya wanted to point out to the Tattvavadi Acharya who belonged to the Madhvacharya Sampradaya that their general behavior did not favor pure devotional service. In other words, it's not pure, which must be devoid of the taints of fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. Fruitive activity and speculating knowledge, those don't work. if you want pure devotional service. As far as fruitive activity is concerned, the contamination is elevation to a higher standard of life, and for speculative knowledge, the contamination is merging into the existence of the absolute truth. We don't want to merge, nor do we want to be speculative about our knowledge. The Tattvavada Sampradaya of the Madhvacharya school sticks to the principle of Varnashram Dharma, which involves fruitive activity, not completely pure. Their ultimate goal, mukti, is simply a form of desire. So that it's what they're looking for is mukti, which is a desire for their own sense gratification, you could say. A pure devotee should be free from all kinds of desire. He simply engages in the service of the Lord without expecting any reciprocation. That's me. Nonetheless, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased that the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, or the Tattvavada Sampradaya, accepted, this is important, at least they accept the transcendental form of the Lord, which is very amazing in the different schools of Mayavadi and Tattvavadis and whatever. This is the great qualification of these Vaishnava Sampradayas. It is the Mayavada Sampradaya that does not accept the transcendental form of the Lord. If a Vaishnava Sampradaya is also carried away by that impersonal attitude, the Sampradaya has no position at all. It is a fact that there are many so-called Vaishnavas whose ultimate aim is to merge into the existence of the Lord. The Sahajiya's Vaishnava philosophy is to become one with the Supreme. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out that Sri Madhavendra Puri accepted Madhva Acharya only because his Sampradaya accepted the transcendental form of the Lord. So this is very, very important, that we don't want to merge into the existence of the Lord, but we want to serve the Lord, and you can't serve the Lord by merging with him. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu broke the pride of the Tattvavadis to pieces. He then went to the holy place known as Falgu Tirtha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Sachi, went to Trita Kupa, and after seeing the Vishala deity there, he went to the holy place known as Panchapsara Tirtha. Purport: the Apsaras, denizens of the heavenly planets, are generally known as dancing girls. Be careful. The girls in the heavenly planets are exquisitely beautiful, and if a woman on earth is found to be very beautiful, she is compared to the Apsaras. There were 5 Apsaras named Lata, Budbuda, Samichi, Surabaya, and Varna. It is said that these 5 beautiful dancing girls were sent by Indra to break the severe austerity of a saintly person called Achyuta Rishi. This action was typical of Indra, the king of heaven. Whenever Indra discovered someone undergoing severe austerities, he would begin to fear for his post. Indra is always anxious about his position, fearing that if someone becomes more powerful than him, he would lose his elevated position. As soon as he would see a saint undergoing severe austerities, he would send dancing girls to distract him. Even the great saint, excuse me, Vishwamitra Muni, even the great saint Vishwamitra Muni, fell victim to his plan. When the 5 Apsaras went to break Achyuta Rishi's meditation, they were all chastised and cursed by the saint. As a result, the girls turned into, of all things, crocodiles in a lake that came to be known as Panchapsara. Does anybody see my blue thermos? Yeah, sorry. That's hot water. It's better. Okay, so as a result, guess what? They girls turned into crocodiles in a lake that came to be known as Panchapsara. Lord Ramachandra also visited this place. From Sri Narada Muni's narration, it is understood that when Arjuna went to visit the holy places, he learned about the condemnation of the five Apsaras. He delivered them from their abominable condition, and from that day the lake came to be known as Panchapsara, and it became a place of pilgrimage. Does anybody else remember a pastime where somebody sent Apsaras to break the vow of a great sage? Yes. And what happened? Exactly so. Be careful who you curse. Back to Lord Chaitanya's travels to the holy places. After seeing Panchapsara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gokarna. It is about 20 miles southeast of Karoyara. This place is very famous for the temple of Lord Shiva as Mahabaleshwar. You ever been there before, Nar? Have you ever been to India? All right, you have to go soon. Hundreds and thousands of pilgrims come to see this temple. Sirparaka is about 26 miles north of Bombay in the Maharashtra province. Near Bombay is a district known as Tana and a place known as Sopara. Suparaka is mentioned in the Mahabharata. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the town of Kolhapura, where he saw the goddess of fortune in the temple of Shira Bhagavati and Lunga Ganesh in another temple known as Chora Parvati. Purport. Kolhapura is a town in the Maharashtra province formerly known as Bombay Pradesh. Formerly it was a native state, and it is bordered on the north by the district of Shantara, on the east and south by the district of Belagama, and on the west by the district of Ratnagiri. In this place there is a river named Uma. From the Bombay Gazette, that's a newspaper, it is understood that there are about 250 temples there, out of which 6 are very famous. These are Amba Bai or Mahalakshmi Mandira, 2 Vidobha Mandira, 3 Temblai Mandira, 4 Mahakali Mandira, 5 Viraranga or Pratayangira Mandira, and 6 Yalamna Mandira. So these are special places, just like your Guru Maharaj, your Krishna Maharaj. He's taken several groups of devotees on different pilgrimages to see these places. Because every place in India has some spiritual background, some amazing thing that happened, and that's what this Chaitanya Charitamrita is describing here, Lord Chaitanya's travels. So when we travel to these places, we go to all the places where Lord Chaitanya actually stepped and gave kata and purified that place. So you see all the different, there's even a place where you see the footprints of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you go on that pilgrimage with, what is it? That one that we went on from Jagannath Puri. Yeah. What? So there's a hole with his fingerprints in it too? Yeah, amazing. Yes. It is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated Tukaram when he visited Pandharpura. So who's Tukaram? Oh, from Laguna Beach? Oh, no. Amazing. So she's saying that, yeah, that Tukaram was taken in a flower airplane? Okay. This Tukaram Acharya became very famous in the Maharashtra province, and he spread the Sankirtan movement all over the province. The Sankirtan party belonging to Tukaram is still popular in Bombay, in the province of Maharashtra. Still going on. That's right near Chowpatty Temple. Tukaram was a disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his book is known as Abhanga. His Sankirtan party exactly resembles the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sankirtan parties, for they chant the holy name of the Lord with mridungas and kartals, right? How many? There are 7 drums and 14 kartals in the kirtan that Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri when he was glorifying the Lord Balaram, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. The Lord Vitaladeva mentioned in this verse is a form of Lord Vishnu with 4 hands. He is Narayan. Text 283. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in various ways as usual, and one Brahmin, seeing him in ecstatic love, became very pleased. He even invited the Lord to his home for lunch. This Brahmin offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu food with great respect and love, and after finishing his lunch, the Lord received auspicious news. This is, in order to have Lord Chaitanya over for prasadam, you had to be a 64-rounder. Okay? That's pretty intense. Okay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received the word that Sri Rangapuri, one of the disciples of Sri Madhavendra Puri, was present in that village at the home of a Brahmana. Hearing this news, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately went to see Sri Rangapuri at the Brahmana's house. Upon entering, the Lord saw him sitting there. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Brahman, he immediately began to offer him, anybody? Obeisances in ecstatic love, falling flat. That's what dandavats means, all the way, flat, feet out. The symptoms of transcendental transformation were visible with who? Anybody? Lord Chaitanya. And what were they when he saw this Brahman? Namely, tears, jubilation, trembling, and perspiration. He was perspiring, Lord Chaitanya. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such an ecstatic mood, Sri Rangapuri said, "Your Holiness, please get up. Your Holiness is certainly related to Sri Madhavendra Puri, without whom there is no flavor of ecstatic love." So how does Madhavendra Puri get here? That's the guru of Ishvara Puri, all right? Who was, Ishvara Puri was the guru of who? That's why you got that name, Chaitanya. He was the guru of Sri Chaitanya. So your holiness is certainly related to Madhavendra Puri, without whom there is no flavor of ecstatic love. Okay, this is an important purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that in the disciplic succession of Madhavendra Puri, Madhavacharya, up to the advent of His Holiness Sripad Lakshmipati Tirtha, only Lord Krishna was worshipped. After Srila Madhavendra Puri, worship of both Radha and Krishna were established. For this reason, and this is the reason that we have Radha Golokananda with us, for this reason, Sri Madhavendra Puri is accepted as the root of worship in ecstatic love. Unless one is connected to the disciplic succession of Madhavendra Puri, there is no what? There's no possibility of awakening what we're all hoping for, awakening the loving ecstasy, awakening the symptoms of ecstatic love. The word Goshani is significant in this connection. The spiritual master who is fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and has no other business than the Lord's service, like Mata Chaitanya, no other service than pleasing the Lord. The word Goshani is significant in this connection. The spiritual master who is fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and has no business other than the Lord's service is called the best of the Paramahansas, like your Guru Maharaj, your Krishna Swami. Always. A Paramahansa has no program for sense gratification, no program for sense gratification. He is interested only in satisfying the senses of who? The Lord. What? Can you? Yes. Therefore, the bona fide spiritual master who has, are you listening? No. Who has full control over his senses, engages 24/7, 24 hours a day in the Lord's service. He can therefore be addressed as Goshani or Goswami, Bir Krishna Goswami. The title Goswami cannot be inherited. It's not that just because your father was that you can, but can be given only to a bona fide spiritual master. There were 6 great Goswamis of Vrindavan. Who knows them? Anyone? Shout out. Start one name. Huh? Yes, that's the first one. Okay. Bhakti Raghunath, that's the one that's right here. Another. Here you go, Hoshi. Jiva and Raghunath. And none of them inherited the title of Goswami. They didn't inherit that in a family lineage. No. All the Goswamis of Vrindavan were bona fide spiritual masters situated on the highest platform of devotional service. And for that reason, and that reason only, they were called Goswamis. All the temples of Vrindavan were certainly started by the 6 Goswamis. Every one of the temples there originally, the main ones, were started by the 6 Goswamis. Later, the worship in the temples was entrusted to some householder disciples of the Goswamis, and since then, the hereditary title of Goswami has been used. However, only one who is a bona fide spiritual master, expanding the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna conscious movement, and who is in full control of senses, can be addressed as a Goswami. Unfortunately, the hereditary process is going on. Therefore, at the present moment, in most cases, the title is being misused due to the ignorance of the word's etymology. You don't become a Goswami just because your father was. You have to gain the achar, the mood and the devotion. After saying this, Sri Rangapuri lifted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and embraced him. When they both embraced, they began to cry in ecstasy. So we're back now to the translations. This pure devotee is getting the opportunity to lift Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Hare Krishna. We keep this on, right? Keep the microphone on.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham.
Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Raskatyadi Satarine Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, ISKCON founder, Shri Radha Krishna Gopalana Sham Kunda Radha Kunagiri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Navani Dham Ki, Shri Gangamai Jamunamai Ki, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Riya Madanga Transcendental Bhakti Shri Ki, Prashadam Sankirtan Ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki. All glories to the devotees. All glories to the devotees. All glories to the devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chaitadatanam Bhavama
Amita Smarane Nakala Etad Rishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idvishamiha Janina Niraga Trinada Pisani Chena Tarora Pisahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Nadanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhakti Rohita Ki Tvayi Ainanda Charuja Kinkaram Pritamam Vishamam Vivam Buddha Kripaya Tavatada Kankaja Stitiduli Sadvisham Vichintaya Nam Galara Shrudaraya Gadganam Gadgarav Gudaraya Gira Pulakaya Nichitam Vapukada Tabamaha Gahane Bhavishyati Yugaitam Namishena Chakshusha Pavishaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Ashli Shava Paravatam Penastumam Adarshana Mamahatam Karotuba Yatatatava Viditatu Lampeto Mat Prana Natastus Eva Para. Here you go.
Victory to the Sri Krishna sanctuary, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of traditional life for repeated birth and death. The ISKCON movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have vested all your transcendental energies, There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord. Unconditionally. Shri 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 Shri